The African savanna and its dry forests are unforgiving environments. Food is scarce, water sources are unreliable, and daily survival is usually dictated by apex predators perfectly adapted to harsh, burned earth. Living in the middle of this ecosystem is the honey badger. It operates alone out of deep dirt burrows, weighs barely 30 pounds, and completely lacks the massive physical size or lethal venom we usually associate with apex survival. Yet the honey badger possesses a glaring behavioral contradiction. When confronted with environmental dangers or massive predators that cause other species to immediately flee, the badger actively approaches the threat. Popular culture often explains this by painting the animal as an unstoppable force of mindless aggression, a creature literally incapable of feeling fear. The biological reality is highly calculated. What actually keeps this animal alive is a multi-phase survival strategy honed by evolution.
Its reputation is built entirely on practical intelligence and precision. The first phase of the badger's playbook is spatial control. Upon detecting a threat, it manages the exact physical distance. Instead of charging, it drops low, moving in short, quick steps. It alters direction constantly to close the gap without triggering a reaction. We see this applied perfectly along grassy riverbanks. When targeting a baby crocodile, the badger doesn't rush the shore. It follows the grass edge, keeping a steady, calculated distance from the water. Waiting patiently for a physical opening, the badger accelerates briefly. This sudden forward burst physically cuts off the crocodile's escape route back into the river. By neutralizing the opponent's spatial advantage and forcing them into a corner, the badger dictates the terms of the encounter before the fight truly begins. Sometimes, the badger is the one being ambushed. Against a massive physical or numerical disadvantage, standard retreat is lethal. Turning your back in the savanna instantly triggers a predator's instinct to chase. When facing ambush predators, like lions hiding in the tall grass, the badger executes a deeply counterintuitive maneuver. Instead of backing away, it violently charges directly at the threat. Ambush predators rely on precise distance calculations. By violently closing that space, the badger forces the predator to break momentum and reevaluate its target. This disruptive lunge works on coordinated groups as well. If a pack of hyenas closes in, the badger lunges forward, directly into the pack, instantly shattering their tactical formation. This is the weaponization of surprise. It transforms a moment of extreme physical vulnerability into a psychological shock that forces apex predators to halt cautiously. Once the confrontation enters close quarters, the badger initiates its final tactic, a complete refusal to yield space, maintained by relentless forward pressure. It survives direct strikes at this range, using its biological armor. When confronted by a venomous snake like a cobra, the badger leverages its extraordinarily thick, loose skin. As the snake launches a series of defensive bites, the thick hide absorbs the strikes. The badger doesn't stall. It steps through the bites to pin the snake's head and establish physical control. The badger applies this exact same continuous pressure against larger foes. On a rocky slope, it will charge a leopard to save a companion, constantly stepping forward to force the cat out of its hunting posture. The final phase is a pure test of physical tenacity. The badger traps opponents in a high-pressure environment until their only remaining option is retreat. The result of these escalating encounters follows a consistent pattern. After a brief observation, the hyenas withdraw, the lions leave the area, and the leopards surrender their catch. The badger rarely has to kill an apex predator to secure a win. Breaking their formation and forcing a superior opponent to yield space is a definitive triumph. Biologists define this cognitive ability to dynamically assess risks, utilize the environment, and adapt tactics in real time as flexible intelligence. The animal does not go out its way to seek conflict, but when forced to act, it possesses the behavioral toolkit to systematically dismantle a threat. In a harsh environment dictated entirely by sheer size and muscle mass, the honey badger proves that audacious spatial strategy and calculated disruption are the most effective equalizers in nature.